and Waja. Great song. 9:40 is the time. The School of Administration, 20 minutes before the hour, 10 o'clock. We have in the studio with us on the Good Morning Nigeria show special guests. People who've been chasing, friends that actually eluded us for quite a while. Well, finally, we got them here. In the studio with us is the chairman of River State chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association, Mr. Dr. Furo Green, and the Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Medical Association Rivers Branch, Dr. Bruce Ibiso. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Good morning.
So glad to have you here, sir.
Thank you so much.
How's it been for you this whole time? I know since inception, you've been up and down, pushing you around the corners.
Yeah, it's been rough.
And how long ago? How long has it been now? I know you're fresh.
Yeah, we were elected, I think, on the 4th of August.
Yeah. So you're barely a month. Wow. How does it feel to be taken from your comfort zone and thrown into this responsibility with all the activity that barraged you so far?
Well, sometimes it's like, I wish I knew this had the problems I'm going through.
I know, right?
But somehow the zeal to serve carries you on, and the fact that you know your people are behind you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe they understood the strength you had, your prowess and your zeal as well. That's why maybe I'm not sure anybody anticipated that it's going to be this tough.
No.
I mean, I can tell that people are confident that you're there. So, Dr. Furo Green, you're welcome again to Cool FM.
Thank you very much.
We understand that doctors have been on strike for quite a while, and finally, we heaved a sigh of relief last week. Can we really know what preempted the strike action? So, just for the benefit of those who are still listening, never got an idea.
All right, well, maybe if you permit me, I would like to just keep in a word about what happened there towards the end of last week.
Okay.
One of our doctors, a registrar in the Department of Anatomical Pathology, was kidnapped. Kinako Sam.
Seriously?
Yeah, right now, as I'm talking to you, he's still in the den of the kidnappers. So let me please use this opportunity to appeal to all the security agencies concerned to please expedite action to effect the release of our colleague. And also appeal to the kidnappers to please release the young man. Doctors are humble civil servants that are satisfied with their remuneration. Yeah, the little they get, they are satisfied. And you can imagine they are asking for 15 million. Where on earth can the guy get that kind of money, or his family? So please, we appeal to the public to condemn this action and plead with the kidnappers to please release our colleague. Because if they fail to do that, we may be forced to take an action which the public would like.
Okay.
You know, yes.
And what would you say might be the motive behind the kidnapping?
Well, as of now, we don't know.
I mean, you mentioned he's a registrar.
He's a registrar in the Department of. He was kidnapped in Bol, you know.
Okay.
I think he went from that part of the state.
Okay.
So he was somewhere in Bol when armed men kidnapped him.
Have the authorities been notified?
Yes, they have been notified.
Okay, so I'm sure they're working tirelessly.
Well, we pray so.
Because nobody wants to get in trouble with the doctors anymore. The federal government, for one, they've learned a lesson, I can tell. But how did you cope though during the period of strike?
Well, we were still working. Those of us who are officials were working behind the scene.
Okay.
You know, trying to drive the Ebola, you know, containment.
No, we're talking about the strike though. Like during the time of the strike, what was really the bone of contention? What held it on for as long as it stayed?
Well, because we were convinced, you know, about our action.
Okay.
We're tired about the conflicts in the health sector. We're tired about the medical tourism, you know, that takes place outside this country, where every little case which we have the capacity to manage are referred abroad, and especially involving politicians and highly placed people in society. And so the common man is left to languish.
And did the government meet any of your recommendations and your demands?
Well, they tried. They tried. At least a percentage of our demands have been met. A few others are still being worked on. Negotiations are still going on behind the scene. And we hope that in a very short while, all the other issues will be fully addressed. But reasonably.
So what really did they agree upon that you guys agree upon that decided that preempted the need for you to call off the strike? I mean, there must have been something they did good or something they met.
Yeah. You see, there have been lots of conflicts in the health sector. I'm sure you know that, because people from the other divide have been coming to the station, so I'm very sure you're quite aware. The issue of who heads the hospital, the issue of governance.
That's right.
Yeah, governance. And because this governance was being trampled upon, there were certain benefits that were denied the doctors to resolve. So we confronted the government. I said, government, place this governance issue in good light, in good perspective, and then to redress the wrongs that have been done to the doctors over the years. So those were the issues.
And then when the doctors, sorry to cut you short, when the government decided to sack the resident doctors or suspend the resident doctors, what was your reaction really? How did you guys handle that? How did you take that?
Well, we saw that as a very, disappointing step in the negotiation process, because we knew before they took that action that they may take that kind of action, because for the first time in a long while,
we anticipated it.
We anticipated it. Yeah, because doctors, for once, have been united in this country. We've had one voice, and we knew that the government will do something drastic to attempt
to break
our ranks.
Oh,
exactly. Okay. So we anticipated that they may do that, and they actually did do that.
But did you have a comeback?
Yes, we knew, of course, that it would work because I'm a consultant. I work in a team.
Yes.
In fact, we are like 2 consultants in my team.
Okay.
And then we have several resident doctors in that team. And the most junior in that team is the house officer. And all the others below the level of consultants are called resident doctors. And then you sack all the people below me. How do I work?
Who do you work?
I mean, that's it. So we didn't see it as something that was going to drive the negotiation process forward. We saw it as something that was going to bring about a stalemate, and it was actually a stalemate. And we made it known to government. But because many Nigerians were a lot of pressure on us to come back, show goodwill to the Nigerian people because of the Ebola crisis, because of many other things that are happening, we now said, okay, let's take, and of course, well-meaning Nigerians like the Senate President, the governor of Delta State, put pressure on us, and they came and they asked us to trust them, that they were going to defend our cause.
So if there was nothing like Ebola, none of that would have happened?
Well,
you'd probably still be on strike?
Not really. I think they would have found a way to solve it. Because
how about the residents?
You weren't also concerned. Oh, they've been called back last week. I think that was on Friday or so, Thursday or Friday.
Okay, so the resident doctors don't have anything to worry about.
No, they don't have anything to worry about.
And now that you mentioned Ebola and thank God. Well, there are certain things you say thank God for, even if it's bad. Has it been like you've seen the crisis and how people have been so shaky about it? Really, the uncertainties, the misconceptions,
the
superstitions, and everything bothering it. Like, are you working hand in glove with the government? Or?
Oh yes. In fact, when I stepped out, I had to talk with the director of public health.
Okay.
Who is actually the man in charge administratively. Of the Ebola containment arrangements.
Yeah.
I spoke with him. So we are in touch. We're in touch with the government. We know what they are doing. But the momentum was slow initially. And I had appeared in some other stations earlier on. I told them that, well, it was not a very nice thing that we were on strike, though we're trying to make a point and trying to get the public to put pressure on government to make the hospitals and the healthcare delivery system better. But although that was not too nice, but it was like a blessing in disguise.
Because that's one of the things that you guys were fighting for.
Yes.
Even preempted your strike.
Exactly.
Action as well.
Exactly.
So it's almost like this will put that on the spot.
That was it. For example, that brought to light the risk that doctors and nurses face every day.
That's right.
And then they pay you 5,000 naira per month, as hazard allowance.
Oh boy.
You mean? So, he told the story. He just was like our
exactly challenges.
Exactly. You know.
If you're just joining us, well, this is School FM, the Good Morning Nigeria show. We have in the studio with us Dr. Furo Green, chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association River State Branch, and Dr. Biso. Bruce, thank you very much for coming, the PRO as well.
Thank you very much.
With Valentine and Sandro asking questions regarding the NMA and River State government's response to the Ebola crisis, leading from the strike action that's gratefully being called off. So far, sir, how well do you think your doctors really are aware? How aware are they of the Ebola disease? How informed are they?
Well, the information, let's say, averagely informed. Averagely informed.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
That's alarming.
When I talk about doctors, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say 6.
Okay.
I'm looking at the doctors all together. There are a group of doctors that have just gone through a training organized by the River State Ministry of Health.
Okay.
You know, when things like this happen, as a doctor, you want to be off to, exactly. So you try to get information from anywhere you can get information. But then, in addition to that, the River State government has organized a full week seminar or workshop, call it a workshop, where a training, people were brought from the US. And then they supervised.
Well, that was after a case was suspected or seen in Harcourt, correct?
No, really, no. The arrangements, I must give credit to the government about that. The arrangements that were made for training, for importation of PPEs, drugs, and all that, started long before the issue in Port Harcourt.
You know why I asked that question? But it seems to us that information dissemination is not as good as it should be. Most people don't know what's going on. Even if you say, okay, let's just assume some quarters, I'll be open to you. Some quarters are actually saying or insinuating that the government knew about the Ebola case in Harcourt way before they let the public know. You know, and that might have incented or sensitized the need to bring in foreign professionals to train.
No, not so.
I mean, because you know why I asked you the question initially, how well informed the doctors are in River State? Because the doctor in River State, not so far from us, Rumokoro here.
Yeah.
You know, is a doctor, so you assume naturally that he knows about disease and the risks that he might face. And he was called to handle the diplomat that came into River State. Let's not even look at the diplomat itself. I mean, is it doctors?
It was his responsibility.
And I mean, did he need to handle the case that way, or are there discrepancies here and there? Shouldn't he have told the authorities about it before even handling the case or treating the?
Wasn't he sure what he was handling?
let's not call a dog a bad name to hang the dog. The doctor didn't quite do the right thing. We all know that. And that may also be proportional to the percentage of information or the volume of information that he had. He's a private doctor, more or less.
Okay.
You understand? He had. That's why when you ask about the percentage on the scale of 1 to 10,
how much information
I said 6. There are those who have 9. 10,
There might be some who have 2.
I don't think that no doctor has 2.
I'm not a doctor and I don't have 2.
Exactly, you don't have 2 because I've overheard you, time to time talking about it. So, and the jingles you guys put on air have been informing the public. That's reasonable. Anybody that gets all of that should score about 5.
But how? So far now, we've appreciated the fact that there was a mistake made, corrections have been put in place, but are they doing enough? I mean,
is
enough being done? Because
enough is being done, right?
We have pictures showing the hospital still open. Is this supposed to be open?
Well, the Commissioner for Health, the hospital must not be shut down. Really, the experience in Lagos was a prime experience. It was the first time.
And they were taken unawares.
So
Rivers, they had the time to prepare.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I talked about the momentum.
Yeah.
The momentum gathered slowly. So I think they have gathered reasonable momentum now. The treatment center is open. 3 people are there, on treatment. The mobile laboratory sent by the federal government is here in Port Harcourt. The University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. People are on surveillance, close to 200 people, you know, on surveillance.
What do you mean surveillance? Because they keep saying that thing and we don't understand what being under surveillance means.
Okay, surveillance.
Do they have cameras watching them?
No, not really.
Do they have,
not really.
do they have people living near their houses? What
no,
is surveillance?
No, the surveillance is a public health terminology. You know, in broader terms, it looks at the whole population, the whole population that's at risk. You know, that's surveillance. But with respect to Ebola, it's looking at those who may have had contact with the primary contacts. Yes, you know, that's so they don't have any. And of course, you know, contacts can be graded, minimal risk contact, and high risk, and all that. So minimal contact, well, contact is contact, and if because of the virulence of this virus, you know, one virus alone can cause a harm, can cause a problem. Unlike other disease conditions where you have a load, you know, reasonable load. So long as you come in contact with this primary contact, you are restricted somehow. You're placed under surveillance. That's the word we use. You know, you can't go about your normal business like before.
Where are they restricted? In their houses?
Yes, for now.
You tell them to stay at home.
Exactly.
Do they listen?
Well, that's where, you know, the media houses will come in.
How do we ensure that they listen?
Because we can tell them.
Yeah, we can tell them. Somehow, some degree of supervision is affected. There are people on the field.
I was listening to our sister station yesterday, and some people called in with the complaint that someone called one of those numbers, and those numbers hung up on them. And some other person complained that when they did call, they said, okay, they're going to send somebody, and they've still not seen anyone that was sent to come check out someone that could possibly be a secondary contact.
Really?
Yeah.
So most of the problems that we're facing here. I don't know if we'll have time to take one or two calls, but if you want to speak with the NMA chairman and the PRO, that's the chairman, Dr. Furo Green, and Bruce Ibiso, Dr. Bruce Ibiso, right here in the studio with us in Cool FM. Please call 084-460-959, 0807-401-0351, and 0700 Cool FMPH. One question. Good morning. Hello. Okay. As a way of rounding up, because we're running out of time, what's the way forward from here? From here on,
the way forward is an appeal to the public. If you have anybody, if you know anybody who may have one way or the other come in contact with the primary contacts, you know about them. You're a pastor. You pray for somebody who may be a high-risk contact, or even
you've laid hands on them.
Exactly, you've laid hands on the person. Please present yourself to the Ministry of Health. That's an appeal we're going to make to the public. Maybe a pastor, maybe a driver or whatever. Present yourself. You'll be evaluated. The risk will be evaluated by people who have been trained, you know, and then so that we can contain, you know, the spread
of this disease.
Yes.
And sorry to cut you short, I need to ask and confirm, because a lot of people are still saying that there's no Ebola in Port Harcourt. A lot of people are saying that it's a political ruse.
No, it's not a political ruse. There is Ebola. My young colleague died from Ebola. So I mean, and the wife has tested positive, and she's been evacuated to Lagos.
We're hearing in the news, just so sad we don't have time. We're hearing in the news that they want to bury the guy. He's supposed to be buried
or cremated.
Cremation is an option. Burial is also an option. But before you bury, there are conditions you fulfill. For example, it's not going to be the normal 6 feet. They're going to dig a bit deeper. You have to decontaminate the body. You know, the things you do on the body. It's a supervised burial. It's not like the regular burial. Yes.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Furo Green, the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association River State Branch, and Dr. Bruce Ibiso decided to be quiet for the first time in PRO.
Well, let me come in and say, the Nigerian Medical Association, we are not happy with the situation of our colleague, Dr. Kinako Sam, that was kidnapped in Bori. We are appealing to the kidnappers to please release our colleague unconditionally. We go about our duties to save humanity without cause for remuneration that's way above what
Yeah.
we're expected to get. We live our lives comfortably. We don't intimidate people. We don't intimidate patients. We lose our comfort. We leave our comfort zone to come out and help the society, and this is what we get in return. In the past, doctors have been kidnapped, and we have done a little way as we've gone a little way as an association to effect their release. This time around, we're not going to sit down quietly and watch one of our colleagues suffer while we're working. The Ebola scourge in the state have made us to come back to work despite the strike we were in. That was one of the reasons why we called off the strike, and we're appealing to them to please release our colleague. We will take necessary action when necessary to ensure that our colleague comes back to join us as an association.
I wish you good luck as well. Success. Let's report successes before we get to talk again on radio.
And give us some hope. This is containable, right?
Yeah,
it's containable.
Yeah, it is.
There are countries that
people should cooperate with the health authorities.
Yes.
You know, I'm happy I came in here and I saw some sanitizer, which means you are Ebola compliant. You know, yes.
Thank you so very much, Dr.
Thank you very
and
much.
Dr. Bruce for coming through. The news at the top of the hour.
Oh, we don't talk English.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate it.
Ebola.